They were gonna buy him out of his deal for 150 and have him signed. Baby was like, and they said, oh, you can't make your mind up? All right, we'll just go to your bosses and give them double for everybody. And they bought the entire 300.
Consider receiving a $150 million offer for your collection of songs. Money that could change your life and provide for generations to come. Now picture your own CEO, the person who found you and helped launch your career, going behind your back to steal that exact deal while you remained faithful to him. Lil Baby experienced precisely that. Additionally, he is finally speaking out about how P, the CEO of QC, cheated him out of the largest payout of his career after years of silence. One of the most cunning betrayals in hip-hop history is under discussion, being the devoted soldier that he is. Lil Baby declined to meet with Scooter Braun over a $150 million buyout because he didn't want to betray his CEO. However, while Baby was demonstrating his allegiance, P was secretly speaking with the same CEO. In the end, P sold the entire QC label for $300 million. With Baby receiving nothing at all from the original arrangement. You'll see at the end of this film how one of the greatest success stories in hip-hop became one of its most startling betrayals, and why Lil Baby's response is causing a stir in the industry as a whole. You must thus stay through to the very end if you want to understand the true tale of the QC empire, and why this circumstance is forcing every artist to reevaluate their connections with their own labels. What's good? Today, we're dissecting one of the most startling tales to emerge from Atlanta's music industry in a long time. It's your kid, hip-hop history. Pierre P. Thomas, the CEO of Quality Control Music, Lil Baby, one of the most popular rappers of the last 10 years, and Scooter Braun, a titan of the industry who has handled everyone from Justin Bieber to Ariana Grande, are all involved in this tale. One of the most contentious instances in modern hip-hop history arose when these three cultures clashed over a $150 million agreement, rather than in a recording studio. The narrative of Lil Baby and Quality Control begins in Atlanta in 2016. It begins on the streets, where Lil Baby's real name, Dominique Jones, was already becoming well-known, just not in the music industry. Baby had a reputation for trapping in Zone 4 in Atlanta, and he did it well. Many rappers just pretend to have the lifestyle, connections, and street credibility that he possessed. He had no intention of becoming a rapper. His main goal was to earn money in other ways, and he didn't even consider music. However, P saw a change. P realized that Baby already had all the resources needed to succeed as a rapper. The style, the genuine street background, the inherent charm, and above all, the street's respect. The music was all he was lacking. This is where P's business acumen truly shines. He wasn't searching for someone who was attempting to rap already. He was trying to find someone who already possessed the genuineness and trustworthiness that are impossible to create, and persuade them to turn that into music. According to reports, P's discussion with Baby about moving from the streets to the studio was the pivotal moment. P made a straightforward presentation. You already lead the kind of life that rappers describe. The stories already show you respect. So why not use music to legally make money off of that? This was more than simply a professional change for Baby. It was about figuring out how to keep up his way of life and provide for his family without having to deal with the ongoing legal threats associated with living on the streets. P was providing him with a route to respectability that might be much more profitable than what he was now doing. P didn't just sign Baby and cross his fingers. He made financial, material, and time investments to help him grow as an artist. He put Baby in touch with the appropriate producers, brought him into a studio with seasoned engineers, and gave him the professional know-how he needed to succeed in the music business. In the beginning, their partnership was truly cooperative. P was giving Baby the platform he needed to reach audiences outside of Atlanta, helping him refine his voice, and teaching him about the music business. Baby was contributing the sincerity and diligence that would serve as the cornerstone of his achievements. Lil Baby's ascent was truly remarkable after he made a commitment to music. In less than 2 years, the artist in question went from never recording a song to becoming one of the most well-known hip-hop artists. When P's debut mixtape, Perfect Timing, was released in April 2017, it was clear that his intuition was correct. Baby's ability to transform his street experiences into captivating music came naturally to him. He had a natural flow, his work ethic was amazing, and his narration was genuine. With the release of Harder Than Ever in 2018, Baby accomplished something that most musicians strive for years. Songs like Southside were receiving a ton of radio play and streaming, and the album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200. From a business standpoint, however, here is where the narrative becomes very fascinating. Baby's earning potential increased along with his level of achievement. In less than 18 months, the artist in question went from earning nothing from music to earning 6-figure performance fees. The cash from touring alone was astounding. Baby went from earning a few $1,000s a show at modest venues to earning $200,000 each show as the main act at major venues. His performance costs increased to $500,000 each show by 2019, was earning more than $1 million each show at large festivals and special events by 2020. Revenue from streaming was also impressive, Songs like Gunna's Drip Too Hard have received hundreds of millions of plays. Yes Indeed, which he co-wrote with Drake, became one of the year's most popular songs. Each project he launched was outperforming the previous one. From P's point of view, Baby's accomplishment confirmed all of his beliefs about her potential. He had assisted someone who had no prior expertise in the music business become one of the most successful hip-hop musicians. For Baby, the achievement changed his life. Through his music, he was able to support his family, get them out of risky situations, and create wealth for future generations. The journey from the streets to respectable prosperity fulfilled all of P's expectations. However, success also presented fresh difficulties. Other industry participants were more interested as Baby's profile increased. And most all, the value of his music catalog was rising dramatically. In order to appreciate why industry insiders weren't entirely shocked by what happened to Baby, we must first discuss QC's stature in the sector before moving on to the Scooter Braun case. Quality Control Music had achieved enormous financial success and amassed an excellent roster. However, they were also known for being very combative in their commercial dealings, especially when it came to conditions of contracts and artist compensation. The Migos lawsuit was the most well-known example. The group sued QC in 2019 on the grounds that their contracts were written in a way that greatly benefited the label and prevented the artists from receiving just pay for their achievements. The Migos claimed that automatic renewal clauses in their contracts effectively tied them with QC indefinitely. According to the court documents, the Migos contracts would automatically renew as long as QC had a distribution agreement, making their departure all but impossible. The financial structure was the subject of the most damning accusation. The Migos said that because of the way their contracts were set up, they were only receiving a small portion of the hundreds of millions of dollars that their songs brought in. Additionally, the lawsuit claimed that the same attorney who negotiated the Migos contracts was also employed by QC, resulting in a conflict of interest as the individual tasked with defending the musicians' rights was actually employed by the label. These accusations did not surprise industry insiders. As astute negotiators, QC was known for structuring agreements to optimize their personal earnings, often at the expense of their artists' long-term financial interests. Similar tales were told by other performers who had signed to QC to reclaim his solo rights from the label. Offset had to spend millions of dollars. In phone conversations that were leaked, Young Thug discussed how, despite their financial success, QC artists weren't earning the money they ought to. The industry was aware of this reputation. Everyone knew that P and his crew would put QC's interests first when big deals involving QC artists were being negotiated. One of the most influential managers and executives in the music business, Scooter Braun, named Lil Baby's catalog one of the most important resources in hip-hop in 2021. He made an astounding offer, $150 million for the catalog of Lil Baby's songs. However, this is where Baby's loyalty and character came into play. Baby's response was instructive when Scooter's staff inquired about scheduling a meeting to go over the deal. Numerous sources, including phone calls that were leaked, claimed that Baby informed Scooter's reps that he was unable to hold a meeting without P and QC present. Baby specifically mentioned that he didn't want to appear to be acting over his CEO's back. He claimed that P was his true friend, and that he didn't want to appear unfaithful or dishonest in any way. Everything you need to know about Baby's personality at the time is revealed in this response. He could have made $150 million for himself, but he was more focused on staying loyal to the guy who had paved the way for his career. This made great sense to Baby. When he wasn't even a rapper, P had taken a bet on him. P had spent resources, money, and effort developing his career. Therefore, Baby's first reaction when faced with this enormous cash opportunity was to ensure that P was engaged and that the agreement benefited everyone. According to reports, Scooter's staff informed Baby that P wasn't need to attend the meeting because it was about Baby's personal catalog, but Baby insisted that he wouldn't proceed without P's participation. At this point, the narrative takes a sinister turn because P was speaking with Scooter Braun's team on his own. While Baby was being faithful and wouldn't attend meetings without P was well aware of Scooter's interest in Baby's catalog. According to the later discovered leaked phone conversations, however, P saw a chance to increase his own earnings rather than collaborating with Baby to create a deal that would benefit both of them. Due to his commitment to P and QC, Lil Baby was refusing to meet with Scooter Braun, but P was secretly negotiating with Baby P. Acknowledged in the phone conversations that Scooter's staff approached P directly with a revised proposal after Baby declined to meet with Scooter without P present. They proposed to pay $300 million for the whole Quality Control label rather than simply Baby's catalog. This is the important information. In reality, Scooter didn't want the complete QC catalog. P acknowledged in the phone conversations that Scooter's main passion was Baby's music. In essence, Scooter paid twice as much for Baby's catalog what he truly desired, while P kept the additional funds that should have gone to Baby. In exchange for the $300 million offer for the entire label, consider the math involved in this betrayal. P's precise words in the call that was leaked were, Scooter tried to buy Baby for $150 million, but Baby wouldn't take the meeting without me. So Scooter went around Baby and bought the whole label from me for $300 million. For his catalog, Baby received an offer of $150 million. For $300 million, P sold the entire label, with Baby's catalog serving as the main asset. P kept the entire $300 million from this deal, while Baby got nothing. P is actually boasting about how he outwitted Baby during the phone conversations. He's describing how Baby's allegiance was effectively turned against him. By involving P in the transaction, Baby was attempting to act morally. But P was taking advantage of this loyalty to distance himself from Baby completely. The part of P's taped remarks where he claims Baby should have received something from the arrangement, but then explains why he didn't, is the most harmful. P admits that Baby contributed much to the deal's worth, but he set it up such that QC owned all of the proceeds. This was not merely a commercial choice. For someone who had only demonstrated devotion, this was a personal betrayal. P retaliated by going behind Baby's back to accept a deal worth twice as much after Baby had declined $150 million because he didn't want to do so. Lil Baby reacted quickly and forcefully when the leaked phone conversations were made public and the full extent of P.I.'s treachery became apparent. When Baby and QC unfollowed one another on Instagram, it was the first indication that anything had changed. Such social media actions are not only private but also public declarations in the hip-hop industry. Major musicians unfollowing their labels or business partners typically indicates that there are significant issues going on behind the scenes. Baby's response extended beyond gestures on social media. Industry sources claim that Baby's team started looking into legal possibilities right once to deal with the situation. P had technically acted inside the parameters of his contracts and ownership structure, which presented a dilemma. Despite the unethical nature of his actions, Baby's stance made sense from a number of perspectives. First, out of loyalty to P, he had declined a $150 million offer for his catalog. Second, P had exploited that allegiance against him in order to set up a transaction that benefited QC at the expense of Baby. Third, the main factor that first made the agreement worthwhile was Baby's music. Financially speaking, Baby had missed out on generational wealth because he made an effort to act morally. His family's destiny could have been guaranteed for generations with the life-altering $150 million that was promised to him. But it was more than just financial betrayal. This has to do with loyalty, trust, and the core of their commercial partnership. P had been more than a CEO to Baby. He had viewed him as a friend, a mentor, and someone who truly cared about his career. P had a totally different perspective on their relationship, according to the phone conversations that were leaked. P saw commercial prospects and the potential to maximize profits, while Baby saw partnership and loyalty. The industry received a strong message from the social media. Everyone had to realize that Baby felt deceived by what had transpired and that their connection with QC had ended. The hip-hop business was rocked by the Lil Baby and QC incident, and the effects went far beyond a single artist and label. The facts of P's betrayal and the leaked phone conversations served as a case study for how the music industry functions when large sums of money are at stake. Baby's predicament served as a warning to other artists regarding loyalty and commercial partnerships. This individual has done everything correctly. He had shown loyalty. In addition to trying to conduct commercial affairs honorably, he had brought his label enormous success. But when the numbers became sufficiently, he was still deceived. The circumstance also brought attention to how crucial ownership and contract arrangements are in the music business. Despite the $150 million value of Baby's catalog, he had little control over what transpired when outside parties wanted to purchase it due to the arrangement of his contract with QC. When advising their customers on contract negotiations, corporate managers and industry attorneys started utilizing Baby's case as an example. The case demonstrated how, in the absence of appropriate ownership structures and legal protections, artists might produce immense value while remaining susceptible to abuse. Most significantly, though, the circumstance altered artists' perceptions of loyalty in commercial partnerships. Other musicians who were juggling their own label ties learned from Baby's $150 million loss as a result of his dedication to P. The majority of the hip-hop community responded in favor of Baby. P's actions were widely criticized by fans and other artists who realized that he had been deceived by someone he trusted. The entire situation between Lil Baby and P, the CEO of QC, is one of the most startling betrayals in hip-hop history. While P's treachery brought him $300 million, Baby's loyalty cost him $150 million. In addition to exposing what transpired, the leaked phone conversations also exposed P's mindset, revealing an industry executive who viewed artist devotion as something to be taken advantage of rather than valued. This tale is significant because it reveals the true workings of the music industry when large sums of money are involved. It demonstrates how, in the absence of adequate safeguards, artists can provide immense value but remain susceptible to abuse. It also illustrates the need for ownership structures and legal protections to support loyalty in commercial partnerships. Baby reacted calmly but clearly when he unfolded QC and moved away from P. He realized that he needed to protect himself moving ahead and that the relationship was over. This incident serves as a warning to the hip-hop industry about loyalty, trust, and the value of ethical business methods. There is more to Baby's $150 million loss than just money. In a field that doesn't always reward loyalty, it symbolizes the price of misguided trust and the significance of self-defense. We will continue to cover the stories that show how the music industry actually works. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Tell me your thoughts on this matter by leaving a comment. Should Baby have taken that meeting with Scooter Braun? Or was he justified in remaining faithful? This is your boy Rap Thread until we meet again. Additionally, keep in mind that devotion is a luxury that not everyone can afford in the music industry. Peace.